Hey ski moms! If you're like me, packing for a ski trip can be a challenge, especially when it comes to your boots and gear. That's why I'm excited to share the Diamant Weekend Warrior ski boot bag. We have been using it for a year now, and it's seriously the best ski boot bag out there. And over the summer, Diamant improved the already incredible design and launched their new 2.0 model. And we've got a special 20% off discount code to share with you. The key thing to know is that this bag is TSA approved and fits perfectly in the overhead bin as a carry-on. No more worrying about lost luggage or paying fees to check your boot bag. My ski boots are the one part of my ski kit I never rent. And if they don't make it to my ski destination, my trip's pretty much over before it starts. That's why I love my Diamant Weekend Warrior ski boot bag. The bag is designed by skiers for skiers with a water-resistant and ventilated boot compartment that keeps my ski boots dry and fresh. We've teamed up with Diamant to get you 20% off the Weekend Warrior ski boot bag for your whole family. Just use code SKIMOMS at checkout. Trust me, this bag will change how you travel. And the new Weekend Warrior boot bag comes in 3 colors: Diamant Black, Vermont Green, and Bluebird Blue. Which one will you pick to upgrade your gear? Head over to diamantskiing.com and invest in yourself this season while inventory is still in stock. Welcome to Season 4 of the Ski Moms Podcast. We're your hosts, Nicole and Sarah.
We want to take a moment to remind you about the Ski Moms discount page on the skimoms.co website. We've collaborated with our favorite brands to bring you a ton of money-saving deals. For instance, we have a special link for Ski Butlers for 20% off your family's gear rentals. Ski Butlers delivers your rentals right to the living room of your condo or rental home or the lobby of your hotel, saving you hours of time. You'll never have to wait in a long rental store line at the base of the mountain again. When you use our links and codes, you not only save a bundle, you're also sending a message to the brands about the purchasing power of the Ski Moms. Head to www.theskimoms.co/discounts to take advantage of these special offers. The Ski Moms are so excited to talk to Shannon Smith today. Shannon is the founder of Range Fitness, and she has a bunch of fun initials after her name that we're going to learn all about: BKIN, CEP, CSCS. But most importantly, we are going to learn about how strength and fitness can help us perform better on the mountain and off. So welcome, Shannon.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
We always like to start with ski origin stories. Tell us where you learned to ski and how you started this love of the mountains.
Well, I'm coming from Squamish, British Columbia, Canada today, which is right between Vancouver and Whistler. And I grew up in the area. I grew up skiing at Whistler. When I was 3 years old, that's when I started skiing. So I went through the whole ski school program at Whistler and then went into the ski racing program here as well.
And you were an alpine racer there. You saw a lot of time between the gates.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. When I was growing up, that's all they had here was a ski racing program. Now they have free ride and all these other different programs. But at the time, it was ski racing or nothing, basically, or snowboarding.
And so you started so young, you probably don't even remember, but do you remember if it was a challenge to get you out there or you loved it right away?
I loved it. I loved being outside. I loved going skiing with my friends. I had the best instructors, so I don't think it was a challenge for my parents to get me to get up to go to ski school. And I think in the very early days, it was a form of daycare for them because I was pretty young when I started, but I remember just loving it. The last level of ski school here is called Red Stars, and I just remember loving that. And that was like the point when I could ride the chairlift by myself, and it was like a form of independence for me. So, I really, really loved skiing here.
And did your love of skiing impact what you studied and your career?
Yeah, I was always into, the workout and the fitness side of skiing. And if I'm being honest, I remember one of my coaches saying, "You're a good skier, but you're really good in the gym." Shout out to Jordan Williams. But so I always knew that I wanted to I actually thought I wanted to be a physiotherapist, and that shifted after I went to university and did a couple of practical placements. But I always wanted to do something working with the body and working with athletes and things like that.
Walk us through what all of those initials and certifications after your name, what they all mean, and what it took to get all of those.
BKin is Bachelor of Kinesiology. So I studied kinesiology at the University of Calgary, and what that is basically movement science or sports science. And so that's a 4-year degree there. I went to, like I said, the University of Calgary, which has a really amazing kinesiology program, because they hosted the Olympics back in 1988. So their facilities are really excellent. They kind of converted what was used for the Olympics into the university, and now students can use all of that to learn and do a lot of practical hands-on. And that was actually one of the reasons why I chose University of Calgary, is because there's so many like hands-on labs and practical placements. And that was a big part of helping me decide what I wanted to do ultimately, because like I said, I thought I wanted to be a physiotherapist. And as I gained more experience through schooling, I changed my mind on that one. So, which leads me to my next certification, which is the CEP. It's exercise physiology. And there's a human performance lab at the University of Calgary, which involves a lot of testing. And that's actually what I liked a little bit better. And so I thought I wanted to do more of the clinical aspect, or testing with athletes, things like that. And that's that exercise physiology side of kinesiology. The CSCS is the strength and conditioning specialist. So that's where I took the exercise physiology, the high performance side of that. And then I studied a little bit more to add the strength and conditioning aspect to that.
So you were coming out of university armed with your degree. And fortunately, because you went to school in Canada, probably not a lot of student debt. And you decided to go back to racing, and then you were coaching, or you were coaching simultaneously while getting all of this education?
Yeah, I was coaching on the weekends out in Calgary, out in Kananaskis, because I really missed being in the mountains. Because I did go from skiing every single day to sitting in the classroom. So I needed to get back out to the mountains on the weekends. And so that's where I started coaching. And then after I graduated and came back to BC and back to the area where I grew up, I was coaching for the Whistler Mountain Ski Club, the club that I grew up racing in. So I was then working alongside all of my coaches that I grew up coaching me, which was kind of cool. And I just worked my way up unintentionally that way, starting at U12. And then I just, year after year, I spent, all in, I think, 10 or 11 years, from starting in university to where I finished with the Whistler Mountain Ski Club, just working my way through the age groups up until U18. And along with that, I had started using what I had learned at university, doing the fitness testing with our athletes and strength and conditioning. Whistler Mountain Ski Club has a pretty good facility, again, a product of having the Olympics in Vancouver and Whistler. So we have a pretty good gym for a ski club. And so I got to, use that and develop the whole drawline program for the Whistler Mountain Ski Club at the time.
Was there an age group that you really liked working with? I know you have a 1-year-old, not even a 1-year-old now, you've got a months-old. So you don't have a favorite age of childhood yet, but when it came to working with the athletes, was there one group that you found was more receptive or could really implement change and you loved working with this one group, or was it all great?
It was all great for different reasons. With U12, especially at Whistler, it's a huge mountain. You get to ski a lot and they just follow you around and they rip and it's really fun. So I really loved that and kind of missed that as I got to the older age groups, because, when you're older, you're just standing on the side of a course, they ski up to you, you tell them what they need to change. That's the difference in the age groups there. But then when they get older, you are working with them in the gym more and they understand what they need to do. And it's just, it's more of a coach athlete relationship in that way, which is really, really cool to see these young people who are juggling, high school and other sports. Some of them are at like an equally high level in other sports. So it's really cool to see these little people develop. And actually, because I moved up from U12, I moved up with the same group, which was really, really cool. So I had known them for a really long time. So it was really cool to develop myself as a coach as they developed as athletes.
We obviously want to talk about range fitness. I'm wondering when you started that, and can you tell us about path and the trajectory where it started, what led you to start it, and what it is today?
Yeah, I started it during the pandemic, which is why it's an online business. But I decided I wanted to stop with coaching because I was traveling way too much and I wanted to actually start skiing again. So I decided I was done with coaching ski racing, and that's when the pandemic hit. And that was the first time in my career that I needed to find my own clients because I was working with teams before that. And so it really started with just a COVID fitness challenge. It was not a business at that point, but it was a movement challenge when everyone was stuck inside. So it started with at-home workouts that I was posting on Instagram, not charging any money for them, but getting people to join and move. And then it's just developed ever since then. And we're obviously out of that at home, stuck in your home of it, because it really differs from doing a one-on-one session with someone in a gym where you see them once or twice a week for an hour and that's it. With the online platform and the online format, you can focus on a lot of other areas that affect their fitness, which is, for the right person, super effective. And so that's why I decided to stick with that. And the other reason is I have reach to so many people all over the world now. So that is sort of how it's evolved.
Yeah, and you know the unique considerations that moms have now that you have a young child at home. You know that your flexibility and sometimes your ability to get to the gym, that incremental step of getting somewhere can detract from the overall amount of time that you can devote to a workout. So I love that you're doing this, keeping in mind that so many of us need flexibility and we need to be able to customize when and how we do our workouts.
No, that was a huge consideration because I basically took everything that I learned working with athletes and their programming, and then I formatted it for like the modern mountain woman who, works Monday to Friday and, like you say, doesn't have a ton of time. Maybe she has kids or, other things that she's doing. And so I will very rarely write a workout that's over an hour long. And if you want to do it at home, all you need is a band and a set of dumbbells, and you're still going to get what you need to develop that ski specific strength or whatever your goals are. So I don't go to the gym at all anymore. I do everything at home, and it's just such a time saver. And yeah, it takes out that initial barrier of having to leave and get in your car and go and just find parking, all the things. Since starting through the pandemic, some people have decided to go back to the gym, but a lot of people have invested in a couple of key pieces of equipment and they're like, no, this is the way to do it. Like, this is how I get my consistency in because there's no barriers and I can just get it done at lunchtime, in the morning, whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. I was talking to a friend even this morning, telling her about your program. So she lives in a very rural area in Vermont, and there isn't a gym there. And I think, some of us have access to a gym facility, but I think a lot of people don't, or like you said, prefer the time savings and the comfort of home on your own schedule. But I would love to hear a little more about the specific ski fitness module. When would be the right time to start that? And I think some people are like, how in shape do you have to be to start that?
Yeah, so we have a couple of different program options. So the first one is range performance, which is working one-on-one with a coach. And that is really, if you haven't been working out in a structured sense, you've been active maybe, especially like this time of year where people have been really active through summer outdoor stuff, but haven't done any lifting or anything like that. That's a really good place to start. because we go through a full movement assessment. We look at how your body is working, and then we can pick out things to work on and fix. And then, because the goal from all of my programming and my programs are to create a really balanced body so that you can then push harder from there. Because if you have, a nagging injury, or you're not getting correct muscle activation on one side when you're trying to do an exercise, you're only going to get so far. And then that's going to hold you back. So we try and fix that stuff first. So that's working with a coach, going through the movement assessment really helps to address that stuff. But not everyone is able to invest in working with a coach one-on-one. So our next program is Range Club, and this is like a training subscription. So it's an ongoing program. And the way that it differs from the other apps is that the coaches are still there. You can still reach out to them if you need help, if you need to modify something, if you need to, rework your schedule, things like that. So it's a group program, but all the women are on the same program, which the main focus is ski season. Range Club itself is an ongoing program, but it goes in phases. And then we have Snowfit, which is it's kind of like, I hate to say this, but get fit quick program. So this again would be for someone who has been working out but wants to get more ski specific with their workouts. So it's just bands and dumbbells, and all of the workouts are 20 to 40 minutes long, 2 mobility workouts and 2 strength workouts, and it's all very much targeted at skiing. So those are sort of the 3 tiers of what we do.
How many days a week, how much time would you recommend we put aside to really get in shape through these different modules for ski season?
It varies on the person and what they can realistically do. I would say at a bare minimum, you want to do 2 strength workouts a week and then add on top of that. So if I were to build out a custom program and someone could only work out 2 days a week, then I would build in like mobility and strength into that and make sure that I'm checking as many boxes in one workout and still making sure it's under an hour. If someone could work out 5 days a week, then I would split that up a little bit more, and I would add in some aerobic training and maybe, a specific recovery session, but it all kind of depends on the person. If I'm looking at that, like just general 4 to 5 days a week, we're doing 2 strength workouts, a structured aerobic workout, 1 recovery session, and then 1 sort of like core agility session. That sort of checks all the boxes, best case scenario.
Hey Ski Moms, we're headed back to the Boston Snowbound Expo for the 3rd year in a row. It's the best way to kick off your ski season. And this year the expo is going to be November 15th through 17th at the BCEC in New England. Once again this year, we've got your free tickets for you and your family. Just use the link in show notes and code SKIMOMS to get your free tickets. Whether you're a seasoned pro or your family's new to the slopes, there's something for you at the Boston Snowbound Expo. You'll find epic gear and more to buy this year, inspiring talks from top athletes like Hannah Kearney, Gigi Ruff, and Todd Richards, live action and entertainment, après celebration, and so much swag. We can't wait to see you there. Remember to click the link in show notes and use code SKIMOMS to get your free tickets. As Shannon, as I was reviewing your website and reading some more about what Range does, I really like this thing that you were talking about, is that many people exercise or they feel like they're working out a lot, but they're not getting anywhere. They're sort of spinning their wheels. Maybe they're focused on, fitting into like a certain pair of jeans or a number on the scale, which is not really what I'm going for. I'm trying to feel strong and prepared for the skiing that I want to do. But many of us feel stuck. And do you have a theory as to why they're stuck? And what's the difference between, going to a gym or going, out for a run or hikes, and what Range could offer?
Yeah. So what I've seen is that A lot of people stick with what they know or what they're comfortable with. And that's where that problem begins, is that you're not doing necessarily what you need because you're doing what's comfortable. So you probably know these women who just love to hike or run, and that's all they do. And I see that a lot. And I'm like, no, we got to get the strength going, especially as we get older. We need to build that muscle. We need to maintain that muscle. And so that is, one reason. And then just not knowing what to do or where to start. Or even if they do know what to do, maybe they've been given, a few physio exercises after getting an injury or something like that. It's like they don't know how to progress that beyond there. A lot of people are like halfway on the right track, but they just need a little guidance to get them over the hump and actually feel those really, really good results. And then once you start to feel the difference when you're out there skiing or you're out there hiking, and then that is what propels you to keep going and going further. And that's where I see a lot of my clients really develop true consistency. But if you never get to that stage where you're feeling the difference in your performance over how you look, because how you look just really is not enough of a motivator, in my opinion. Once I shifted my mindset to focusing on performance over aesthetics, that is where I was like, oh, I can't go back to that. It's like, it's this really specific shift that happens in your brain that, and I've heard this from so many of my clients that are like, if I knew, then what I know now, I would be, it's just a big game changer for everybody. So.
And I hear you talking about mobility a lot in our conversation, and you're also talking about strength. What is mobility versus strength, and why do we need to focus on it?
Well, I'll give a really simple example that I think a lot of people maybe experience. One would be like hip flexors. So if someone is having some hip pain, a lot of times it's because their hip flexors are weak, but that pain then presents and it becomes tight. And so strength and mobility, they have a relationship. They have to work together. We need to mobilize and like open up the joint, but at the same time, we need to strengthen it because if it's not getting stronger, it's going to get tighter. So that's how it works together, is you need to address both aspects of it. And sometimes, as we're beginning, if someone goes through their movement assessment and we see areas that are tight on one side versus the other, we look into why is that happening. A lot of it is related to sitting at your computer. So we're addressing that, but we need to open up those areas and then strengthen them to just really improve movement patterns that way.
So give me an example of something that would be a mobility exercise for your hips versus a strength exercise for maybe your hips.
So a mobility exercise, we do a lot of dynamic mobility. So similar to yoga when you're like moving through poses, or like mobility where we're not so much holding static stretches, but we're just like going through movements. So you could do like a hip flexor opener where you're like moving in and out of that hip flexor opener. It's hard to explain without showing you guys, but that's going to open up the hip. And I'll often prescribe that as part of the warm up so that when you go in to do a strength exercise for that hip, so there's a number of them, but a simple one would be like a glute bridge where you're strengthening the hips, is that you can, if you've opened up the hip joint going through that dynamic mobility in your warm up, you can then push into a deeper range and get a little bit stronger through that movement.
And for someone starting the program, and one of the things you mentioned that I think we can all relate to is once you start to feel stronger and better, it feeds on itself. If we were doing 5 days a week, the program 5 days a week, how many weeks do we stick with it where we, before we should expect to start feeling some of these benefits?
I think that you can start to, especially when you're incorporating strength, and this is the difference between strength and just cardio, is you can start to feel it, after 2 or 3 weeks. You're going to start to feel it. Then you're going to start to feel it when you're out on the mountain, after 8 weeks. And then you're going to start to really feel it and also see changes in your body after 12 weeks. So all of our programs are typically a 3-month phase. And that the reason for that is because I want you to commit to something so that you can actually go through those changes and feel them and then get that momentum. With the exception of Snowfit. Snowfit is a 4-week program, but like I said, that's kind of your, oh no, I have a ski trip coming up, like I better get going on it. So it's for someone who has been working out already but wants to infuse that ski specific movement.
When we're working out with you, do we have our phone on a wall or in a stand so you can see us and we can see you? Do we have our earbuds? My kids always make fun of me. I say like earbud, earpod. I don't even know the right. So, and we have those in. So you're getting feedback and we can see you, or are we using our laptop? What are the specifics of how this looks?
You can do any and all of those. The app that I use, you can mirror it to your TV. So if you have a TV set up, you can just stream it right to your TV and follow along. So the program is a mix of, recorded classes where I'm coaching you through the movement, through the workout, just as if you were to go to a class. It's not live, it's recorded. And then we also have a list style workout. So this would be more for your like strength based workouts where you're inputting your load and stuff like that. It's better for tracking. It still has videos and instructions of the individual exercise and you work your way through the list, but that would be where you're, inputting your reps and your load and everything that way. So it's a mix of the two. But for mobility and agility type workouts where it's better to have some coaching through that, I try to record all that stuff.
So there's no live where you need to see what we're doing other than the initial assessment?
Yeah. So that's why if you're brand new to strength training, this format probably isn't the best for you. But if you have either worked with a trainer before or been to a lot of classes or just had a lot more experience with strength training and workouts in general, then this would be ideal.
And just if you can go through again what we would need in terms of equipment for the program and maybe how much space we need to have around us.
So for equipment, to get started, all you would need is a mat, a band, and a set of dumbbells, medium dumbbells. That kind of depends on your strength level. I say anywhere in the range of like 8 pounds to 12 pounds, depending how strong you are. And that's what you would need to start off. Oh, and a foam roller. I'm big on foam rolling mobility. And then if you were doing like a fully custom program, like a lot of our clients there have like a full gym set up at home. So it kind of depends, but just starting off with the band and dumbbells is a great place to start. And then as you get more into it, you can add in some stuff from there, but you really don't need a lot.
How much space do you need to do these workouts?
Really just the length of your yoga mat. I do it in my little office if the weather's not great, or through the summer, I take it into my backyard, but you really only need the space that your yoga mat takes up. So it's really easy to do at home.
And when I was looking at some of your workouts and a lot of things that I'm seeing online, and specifically with skiing, involve kettlebell. It sounds like that may be something that you would add to a gym if you've got a little bit more space. But what's the difference between working out with a kettlebell and working out with, traditional dumbbells? October is the time for ski moms to gear up, and the Ski House is your one-stop shop. Now's the time to make the appointments for your season leases for the kids. With the season-long lease, you save both time and money. Skip the rental lines and head straight to the slopes with boots, skis, poles, and more, tailored to your child's size and skill. Now for you. Ditch those old boots. Set up a boot fitting at Ski House and feel the difference of comfort and control on every turn. Plus, don't forget to have your bindings checked for safety before hitting the mountain. Visit Ski House in Woburn and Framingham, Mass., or in Salem, New Hampshire, or go to skihouse.com. That's SKIHAUS.com. Be sure to mention Ski Moms for a $25 bonus check to use in store, and you can also enjoy up to 60% off last season's apparel.
The kettlebell is really great for not taking up a lot of space. So if you want to get one heavier weight, I would suggest a kettlebell because we can do a lot of those like heavier lifts, deadlifts, squats, or even like rows with the kettlebell. And you're not going to need like 8 sets of dumbbells. So if someone has a kettlebell, I would say have a lighter set of dumbbells and a heavier kettlebell as your two weights, because you can really do a lot with that. And when you are wanting to go a little bit heavier, it's just more ergonomic, I guess, than trying to use a dumbbell for the same exercises.
And is there something about like the swing when I'm seeing kettlebell workouts, they always seem to be swinging, hinging. It looks like a lot of the movements that are mimicked in skiing. So is there a relation between those two?
Yes, hinging and skiing, there's a big relationship. I strengthen the hips a lot with my ski athletes or women who ski, because that hinge where you're pressing up from the ground. So if you're doing a hinge, the cue is like press the floor away from you if you're coming back up to standing. And that is a big cue for skiing to keep you forward on your skis. So patterning in that hinge and strengthening all the muscles around your hips, your hamstrings, your glutes is going to push you up into that forward position on your skis, which ultimately is going to help you last longer on the hill. Because if you're sitting back in a squat with your hips low, your quads are going to burn out. And that's what I see so much is that women are complaining of sore knees or tired quads. And they're like, I can't keep going. As soon as we get them into that more forward position on their skis and we strengthen all of those muscles, again, it's like a huge game changer. They're able to go a lot longer, and they're also able to ski with a lot more confidence because they're in that position where they're actually able to attack the terrain instead of waiting for it to come back to them because they're sitting back on their skis.
I feel like you've watched me ski describing that, Shannon. That's definitely something that I'm always working on. And I feel like the stronger I get, the more prepared I am for that. And I'm always looking to add something more as, I'm getting older, and I'm finding that balance is really important for my skiing and working on balance up to ski season, not just expecting it to be there for me the first day that I'm on the hill. Do your workouts take that into consideration as well?
Yeah, we do some balance work. We do a lot of single leg work because, obviously you're skiing, your legs are independent. So that stuff is worked in from the beginning, and we just progress it the closer we get to the season. So like I said, we do training phases, and it allows us to really build up and get more specific as we get closer to the season. And it also allows you to develop those movements properly so that we're not just throwing you into, a weighted single leg squat right off the bat.
Now that you are a working mom, and a lot of moms of kids, back to school, and this all sounds great, but how do I find the time? Would love to hear some of your tips for how you make time to make this a priority in your schedule.
That's exactly it. I do have to tell myself it's a priority, because I know that I am not my best if I'm not able to get this time for me. And, it sounds corny, but it's very true. Is like, I need my workouts. Otherwise, everything else kind of falls apart around that. So the way that I make it happen is I physically schedule it into my calendar. I use Google Calendars. I set a time for it and I make it happen. And I know myself, and I think a lot of people can relate to this. Not everyone can make it happen, but if you do it in the morning, it's way more likely to get done. Try and do it in the morning if you can. I do it. My daughter is 8 months old, so I do it while she's napping. I don't have to get up at the crack of dawn, luckily, right now, but I make it happen in the morning. Otherwise, I just know it's not going to happen because there's a million other things to do as a mom and a business owner, that it's just not going to happen. And you know what? Some days it doesn't happen, or if I'm like, oh, I didn't work out today and it's 6 p.m. and I'm really not feeling it, then it's okay. I'll give myself some grace. I'll say, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll have a better quality workout tomorrow instead of trying to squeeze it in at the end of my day when I'm tired. So it's having that conversation with yourself, because sometimes doing a tired workout where you can't give it everything you've got is not as good as pushing it to the next day. So there is some flexibility in our training for sure. And then the other thing I'll say is, okay, I'm going to do, maybe I won't do this full workout. I'll do 2 sets instead of 3 of every exercise. And that's still better than nothing, especially as we get deeper into the season when we've done all of that work, all of that buildup. It's really important to maintain that strength, and maintaining is less work than building yourself up, which again is a huge part of our training philosophy, is like, don't get ready, stay ready. It's a lot easier to stay ready than start all over again every season.
I love that quote. And I love that you were talking about having a foam roller as one of your pieces of home equipment. And I find those days where the workout plan just didn't happen for me. Having that foam roller at my house, and even I'll go, look at Instagram and I'll do my foam roller for 10 minutes. And while it's not a workout, I'm still feeling like I'm giving my body something and appreciating it and doing a little bit of something. So I do find that keeping a few pieces of equipment at home are really important. Having that yoga mat in a space where you can roll it out and roll your back out are really important, especially for working moms, new moms, people where your schedule isn't always your own.
And that foam rolling maintenance is just as important as that strength maintenance. I think if you've ever used a foam roller, it's really painful and uncomfortable the first time you do it. But if you do it 2 or 3 times a week, you're keeping that suppleness in your muscles, and then that pain starts to go away. So it's just like anything, just like working out. If you don't work out for 4 weeks and then you do, you're going to be sore afterwards. So it's again a big part of that consistency, not only for performance, but just for how you're feeling while you're doing.
And tell us a little bit about what your ski life looked like at the end with your new daughter, and how you're preparing going forward. Are you guys do you have a partner that you're going to swap with so you get some ski time? Is there childcare on the mountain? How are you going to make your ski dreams happen now that you've got this little one?
Well, I am very fortunate that Grandma and Grandpa live in Whistler, and they don't ski on the weekends because they don't have to face the crowds. So I will be dropping her off at their house and heading up the mountain on the weekends. That's the plan. And we'll probably do a couple swap days as well, because it's fun to bring her up there. We did that once at the end of last season. I got to ski 5 days because she was born in January. So that was a bit weird for me, not really skiing the first winter ever, but I did get a couple days after she was born, which was really, really great. Grandma will be a big part of my skiing this season.
Well, it sounds like quite a setup. And I'm imagining, if not this winter, next winter, you'll have her out on skis, or at least slipping around a little bit on the snow.
Yeah, I think at the end of next season, hopefully. She'll be 2 in January next year. So maybe by the spring we can get her on some skis sliding around.
And I'm sure après has changed now that you are a new mom, or newish mom. Maybe you can tell us what you did before you had kids, and then what après ski looks like now that you have a young daughter. How do you end your ski day?
It doesn't look that different, honestly. So before, there's some really great après bars in Whistler. There's Handlebar, which is a cool local spot where they have really good pizza and beer. Or there's Dusty's at the bottom of Whistler, a classic après spot. So those were kind of the classic where you'd want to finish your day, especially after a long powder day where you didn't have time to go in and you're starving and super thirsty. That was always something that we did. But now I don't know. I haven't really had a chance to explore what my après looks like. I always, when I was pregnant, I always envisioned her, just my mom bringing her to après, and then I could, see her and enjoy her after a wonderful day of skiing. And so I'm sure that will happen this season a little bit too.
You'll have to get those little baby headphones that I see the professional athletes have. If it's a rowdy day at the bottom of the mountain, they look so cute. You saw them at the Olympics. The babies would have Like those headphones on to protect their ears.
But yeah, we've got the earmuffs for sure. We've got those already.
Let's specifically talk for a second before we let you go about new moms. So let's say that you did just have a baby and maybe you missed a season. Is there anything that they need to be particularly keen on if they took a season off and as they're getting ready to go back out there and rejoin the ski community after having a baby? Anything that they should take into consideration to get ready?
Yeah, having just gone through this, I can say that your body definitely changes after having a baby. I mean, everyone's birth journey is different, but even just from sitting around taking care of that baby, things have changed. You guys heard me talk a lot about hip strength and glute strength, and that is an area that I found in my body has really changed. Like my glutes just melted away after being pregnant because we're always standing, sticking our bellies out, and even when we're holding our baby. So really focusing on strengthening up the hips and mobilizing the hips because they can feel different, obviously, after giving birth as well. So that would be an area of focus to really specifically focus on bringing back the strength and mobility in the hips. And then the other thing I would say is just like, take your time. It's not a competition. When you do get back on snow, really take your time to progress back up to where you were. Depending on the level of skier that you're at, it can take longer. So enjoy being out there and don't feel like you need to get back to where you were right away. You have all season to do that. And it will come. It will come. And then the other thing is just like, don't feel like you need to be out there right away. I think that's something that I learned as a first time mom is like, I felt like I could go out and do all of the things right away. And in hindsight, waiting is not a bad thing. So if you're not ready, don't go out there because Instagram pressures you to do it. We see a lot of moms, showing, look at me doing this. And it's like everyone's journey is different, and just enjoy that first year of motherhood and take it at your own pace.
Excellent advice, Shannon. Anything else before we let you go? We got so many great tips, and I think you have a lot of offerings that'll really appeal to our community.
I just want to reiterate that how much the training for your ski season can impact your ski season and impact your confidence. And I know everyone's ski situation is different. Some people have seasons pass, some people will go on one ski trip a year, but adding in that ski specific training and understanding how that is going to change your position on your skis, it's something that you can do if you can't get out on snow as much. So it really does impact how you feel out there, which then really impacts your experience, which is really the important thing, is having fun out there and getting rid of a little bit of the stress around skiing, because it should be really, really fun.
We are in full ski trip planning mode for the upcoming season, and we have a great new Ski Moms resource to share with you. We just launched the Ski Mom Family Rentals website at skimomfamilyrentals.com. Our website connects moms across the US and Canada with family-friendly ski homes, so you know you're booking from someone who gets it. Search by state to find the perfect vacation rental for your next family ski trip. We like to think of it as ski vacation rentals by moms for moms. Skip the stress of endless scrolling. Every property is handpicked with your skiing family in mind. Go to www.skimomfamilyrentals.com to explore our listings. Now is the time to book those ski trips for the upcoming season. And if you have a ski home to list with us, it's just $50 a year. You can showcase your ski property to thousands of like-minded moms. So visit skimomfamilyrentals.com to find the perfect place for your next family ski trip. Hey Ski Moms, we hope you enjoyed today's episode and got some great tips for your next family ski adventure. If you had as much fun listening as we did making this episode, we'd love for you to hit that subscribe button so you never miss out on our latest episodes. And don't forget to rate and review us. Your feedback helps us bring you more of the content you love and helps other ski moms find our podcast. So whether you're on the slopes or just dreaming of your next snowy getaway, stay connected with us. Follow us on social media, share your favorite episodes with your friends, and let's keep this awesome community growing. As always, if you have topics to suggest for future seasons, send me an email at sarah@skimomsfun.com. We love hearing from you. As the ski moms gear up for the season, it's time to invest in your fitness to avoid injuries on the slopes. This year, we're so excited to be back with the ACL Strong Signature Program and can't recommend it enough. Last season, we completed over 100 healthy ski days, all thanks to this program. It's not a miracle, it's hard work, but it pays off. With 8 one-week modules, just 30 to 40 minutes twice a week, these are do-at-home workouts that can fit into any busy ski mom schedule. We love that the workouts are accessible by mobile app or internet browser, and we take the program with us when we travel to our favorite ski destinations. With our 20% discount, the program is just $317. Go to ACL Strong and use code SKIMOMS for your 20% discount. Commit to yourself this season. You'll have longer, happier ski days, and your body will thank you.